in terms of, you know what I mean. It's just that obviously because I'm playing football, it's like I don't know how to. It's a weird one. It's a tough one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then I love the fact that, you know, for this conversation and for people listening, you know, it's that, that pivotal part where parents do play a key part in people's lives. And often, whether we've had single parent households or we may not know our parents, you know, having those kind of people speak into our life from a young age is so key and it's so important. And I think some people may not have parents, or having just individuals that can speak, you know, positivity into our lives is so key. And I think you've seen the benefit and how that's kind of followed you throughout your career, and also people walking with you. So looking now at, you know, you're transitioning into bigger steps. People are noticing your skill, your talent. You know, you've mentioned Arsenal. We then go on to Fulham, and then we're going on to Man United. What was that trajectory like for you? And I think with all of those clubs, let's talk about this whole context about journey and mindset, right? They're all three different clubs in three different areas in different parts of the UK. What was that for you, if you was to kind of like speak on each club differently?
So obviously being at Arsenal, it's very North London. It's very like you play for Arsenal, you're a big deal, you know, from being from North London. Everyone supports Arsenal. You know, you go to school with your little Arsenal badge on, and everyone's gassed, you know. So it's like you're from that. And then for me, I ended up actually, my dad actually, he got into like a argument with like the head of the academy at the time, and then they ended up just letting me go. So I went from Arsenal. That's how I went from Arsenal to Fulham. But obviously at the time I thought I'd got released because it was like they let me go at the same time as it was release time. So I know it was looking like to everyone that I got released. But yeah, I've gone to. But obviously I already knew. So like you see, like when you get released in them young ages, you feel like you might like, because of how it's set up. It's like it's just cutthroat, you know. One day you're there with the boys that you've been training with for months, and then the next day you're gone. Like, you know what I mean? You're not there no more. And then, but all of them are. So all the players who've got released are seen as the worst type of players, you know. So it's like you have that feeling of like, I'm not good enough, you know. But where this happened to me and I didn't actually get released, it was because of an argument that my dad had with the staff there.
External
Yeah.
circumstances.
You know what I mean? I feel like my dad, because my dad knew that, he kind of put into me like, don't worry about all of that. Don't worry about this and that. It's opinions. Da, 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 da. Like you know yourself. Like you know the player that you are. You know. So it's like all you got to do is bring that to the next club. You know what I mean? And I went, and then so that's just how I saw it. I was like, yeah, cool. If you don't care, then I don't care, type of thing. Like if you don't care that I got released, then I don't care that I got released. But you know that's how I kind of saw it.
So you had that resilience from early.
Yeah, I had no choice but to. Like
Yeah.
there's not no option. Like the way how my dad had me was like, he had me like everything was very strict, you know, like there's not no, he never gave me no, there's not no time for feeling what we like. You're wasting time feeling stuff. You gotta go do stuff. Like
Yeah.
you ain't got time to feel nothing.
Yeah.
Just keep it moving.
And looking back, was that helpful for you, or did you feel like you didn't have time? What would you actually feel in that process in that time? Do you remember?
Me,
Or was it just the next thing?
one thing I know about me is that I'm a very emotional person. At this stage now, though, could I tell you that at that time I felt a type of way? I remember, like I said, I remember feeling like, oh, I got released. I think I'm super cold. I think I'm the best thing that there is, and I got released. I remember that feeling, but then I also remember getting offered a contract, my first training session for signing for my new club. You know what I mean? So it's a bit like, I also remember, like in the back of my mind, it's like there becomes a point where you're so sure of your own ability that you kind of have to kind of ignore a lot of things, a lot of external. Even from my own dad, I had to do that from young, because anytime he had to take me, when I started playing at Arsenal, when he used to take me to training or whatever, he would get on to me like crazy. Like if he just come back from work, he's like, I'm tired, you know, like he don't. I don't want to be wasting his time. So if I've trained bad, he's gonna make me feel like I'm not good.
Yeah.
And I didn't like that. So it was like I understand. So if he's like that, and what coaches are like that, and everyone else is like that, I would rather just, you know what I mean? I would rather just what's the word? Not taking anything that any of you lot say, the good or the bad.
Yeah.
If I just really, and then that's what I ended up being over. I used to be over analytical in my own performances. Like I used to take training sessions home, matches home, like and watch them actually. You know, like actually study my own game, study it.
Because those things are so formational. Because in Half Space, we speak about, especially when it comes to parents, those transitions from coming from the training ground, like specifically like into the car. What was those like? Because I think you touched on it. What was those journeys like with your father in the car in terms of like what was said?
Yeah.
You know, as you said, you was very analytical. You were analyzing, you know, the training session or maybe particularly the match. Like what was said in those kind of like, you know, car conversations, but also as well, how would you kind of like relate that to now a young person who might be going through that now?
Okay, cool. How I was taking it, I was thinking to myself like, because I used to think to myself, you don't even know how to play football. You know, like
The real one.
Yeah.
Can you even do a kick up?
Yeah, you can't even do. So you don't even understand. But everything that you're saying is hitting me in my chest. Even though I know like there's a lot about football you don't even understand. Everything you say still hits me the same as if you was flipping with Messi.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So it's like I'm just having to hear certain things. You know, like in them ages as well. I still don't even know why I'm not. I don't know why I'm had a good game.
Yeah.
I didn't know why I didn't have a good training session.
Yeah.
Like, I just came here like you know what I'm trying to say. There's still a lot that I'm figuring out myself. Like we both, you don't know nothing about football like that, and I'm learning right as I'm going through. Like,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? This is new to us all. And then, but one thing I would so that's what that was like.
Wow. And then let's go on to like the journey now. So football, Fulham, you've been released, and
Oh, sorry. So to answer your question that you so you asked me like what did he say on the journey back?
yeah.
So he would tell me like things like, okay, so if I'm not, he wants me to be involved in all the action. I gotta get on the score sheet or assist. These are like things I need to be doing. I need to checking my shoulders. If I got, you know, like if I'm, things like getting tackled and not winning the ball back quick enough. And he just wants me to like, he says this thing, I didn't see you being free enough. So he wants me to, when I'm on the pitch, one thing that was guaranteed every game is I had to express myself.
Yeah.
Even when he used to tell me that from a young age, I didn't even know what that meant. Like, he used to say, express yourself. I didn't even know what it meant. But as I got older, I started understanding what it meant. And I made sure that carried on, you know.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I'm forever grateful for, because that's something that I see a lack of now in today's game. There's no expression, no creativity. People can't even, like, that's enough.
I love that, bro. All right, DJ. So let's speak about the transition season. And at this point, you're now being kind of spoken about with Man United. What was like, as a Man United fan, I've got to say, that must have been, you know, big. But what was that experience like for you when you first heard that news?
So for me, so it kind of happened. So look, I was still a schoolboy when I played against Man United for the first time ever in my life. I had to come out of school one day, and play for the under 18s.
Wow.
They had a lot of players sick. So me and another boy called Marlon Fossey, he plays for Bruges, I believe, or
Okay.
in Belgium. He plays in Belgium.
Yeah, Club Brugge. Yeah, Club Brugge.
Me and him had to leave school early and go play in this game, and I remember feeling like, okay, I'm playing against Man United. Obviously, I'm still not, because I'm still, by this point, I'm not a footballing person. As in, like, I don't know about, I don't really, like, the fact that it's Man United, it's like, okay, I know everyone else thinks that that's sick, but in my head, it's just
It's another team.
you know, and I know for sure, Cristiano Ronaldo's not playing.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah,
like,
yeah,
so it's
yeah.
like you're not really.
You're not
really,
waiting for Cristiano to come up. Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
you're not really Man United. Then
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
just some
yeah.
other boys with the kit on like me. So it's like okay. So obviously I'm there. I'm thinking okay, but
I love that.
if they're Man United, they must have some of the best players though. In my
Yeah.
head, I'm thinking obviously when I'm before the game started, I don't really know. But then I get there, and I'm playing in centre midfield, and I'm playing centre midfield 2 years older than my age, and
Okay.
you got to remember the age. You got to remember as well. These little differences are mad back then, because like I'm playing with boys who bang gym every day. They're all strong now. They don't go to school. They go to training every day. And me, my body's still how my body's just like slim, and not been really like theirs.
Yeah.
But meant like ability. That's what I mean. It's the ability thing. So I left school and I got thrown into the deep end. Me and Marlon's a right back. I'm a flary winger. They put us both together in centre mid against them. Marcus Rashford was playing. They had players like Tosin Kahindi was playing. Joe Riley, Dimitri Mitchell, Roshan Williams. These are some like renowned players at the time.
Yeah.
So it's like obviously I didn't know them like that, but yeah, I'm playing in midfield and I'm just decided
playing your game.
playing my game literally. Like what in them, you know what it is in them situations. I always thrive in this because what am I meant to like? What kind of what? There's only two options that I've got in my head. It's like it's win and win. It's crazy and it's like so there is no if I'm no matter how if I'm nervous, that's that nerves getting channeled into more whatever it needs to be so that I can go that way. You know what I'm trying to say? Anything that's trying to make me go this way, I'm not really.
So you was locked in.
Yeah,
Win. It's all about the win.
It's all about the win. It's all about me doing what I'm coming here to do what I do best.
Yeah.
So that eradicates a lot of whatever else may be going on. That's emotions.
Yeah.
That's the weather.
Yeah.
That's a lot of things that.
So obviously for that time as well, for a lot of people, you're playing for Fulham, so I guess playing for Fulham's a big deal. But clubs like Man United, Chelsea, Man City, Arsenal, people could be overruled by the club, the brand of the club. But like you said, Ronaldo wasn't on the pitch at that time. So for you, it's just, just normal people who look like me, who don't look like me, just wearing the club badge. So I'm here locked in, ready to, to get the W basically. And so out of that game, when did things start to kind of like pick up in terms of them contacting you? And what was your feeling?
Okay, so during the game, I was in flow state, for sure. Obviously, I got clips of it, but I just remember after the game, Marcus Rashford, he came up to me and was like, "You're a baller, you." Like, was he could tell I'm young, and he could tell that I've just come up and.
What's the age gap between you and Marcus?
Obviously, at that time, it was a difference between me still being at school and him not being at school. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
So it's like obviously the age gap's probably 1 or 2 years.
Okay.
I'll say 1. You're probably 1 year older than me.
Yeah.
But for that time, the age it's a matter age. That's a big jump, like from 16s to 18s. Purely because they go training every single day and we go school, and we train. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a bit different, but yeah, only 1 year. Only 1 year.
And even so, you talk about school. So what was that like for you then, in terms of like going to school and then?
Oh wait, sorry to cut. So I mentioned that you said after the game that I played well and whatnot. Not to say that was once he told me that I knew. Obviously at the time, you could tell by the way how he's playing as well. Like he is him. Like he's in Manchester. That he's the ball. Like he's things go through him. He's the one who makes things happen. So he was the version of me for them.
Okay.
In my brain, how I saw it. So the fact that he after the game validated my performance, it was like I appreciated that because like good quality recognizes quality every single time.
Well, that saying real recognize real.
Real recognize real, same thing, So it's like when you're on the pitch and you receive that, it's like okay, yeah. Now because I already had that in my head that I played cold, but the fact that and it's not just if anyone validates it, it's got to be someone who I actually rate as their,
Yeah.
I've got to rate their performances, so I've got to rate them.
And was that rare? Like, because that's something you don't really hear about. Like, especially, boys your age, validating other guys on the pitch. I guess when you see, at the end of games, people shake hands and say, yeah, well done, and that. But was that the kind of culture that you get all the time? Was that or was it rare?
Yeah, no, it wasn't, because you got to remember, you're dealing with young boys. Young boys have their young egos. They have their young. They want to feel like they're. But you know what it is with me? It's like, if I could, obviously, because I'm paying attention I'm paying attention to so much details in a player, because I'm paying attention to so much details about myself as a player. So naturally, when I'm looking at another player, I'm gonna identify how much details they've put into what they're doing, their craft. I'm looking at everything that you're doing, because you should be doing that about your own game. You know, so if I recognize your excellence, I would have to let you know, because I know that takes a lot of you don't just wake up and you're like that. You know, we've gone through there's a parallel between us. You know.
And so there's a way of like, you've been raised. Obviously the clubs, you know, do quite an important part in terms of like teaching you just like not just skill set but habits, about character as well. And so you're seeing being that played out on the pitch as well. And so going from that then to like going into now the question of, after the game, you've played against United, you know, players like Marcus Rashford identifies the quality that you have. How did the call up happen in terms of now Manchester United being interested in you?
Okay.
What was briefly, what was that like for you?
Okay, so obviously prior to that game, I was deemed one of the young hot prospects of Fulham. And obviously this is like I said, under 16 time where you get offered a professional contract or a scholarship. Normally you get offered a 2-year scholarship and a pro, but a group of us from the under 16s got offered a 1-year scholarship, 2-year pro, or 2-year scholarship, 1-year pro, something like that. But it was all generic. Everyone got given the same contract. We all was also going to Coombe, the Fulham school together. So prior to that, we'd been learning together, training together, and it was they was going to give us all the same, contract and whatnot. But for some reason, obviously, but my dad wanted them to give me more. To be honest, like how they said that they valued me as a player, he wanted them to prove that by the contract that they offered me, which, from a business standpoint, is fair enough. You know, there's still a bit of due diligence you got to do with in terms of like pathway, and there's a lot more included. But from having that, from me understanding my dad, I can understand that in that moment of time, that's the best decision that he could think of making. You know, so that's exactly what he did. Look, he gave them a counter offer. They didn't agree with it. He snatched me out of training and told me to take my things and go. But obviously, this was after I'd already played that game against United. You know, but everyone already know I'm already I'm that player where everyone's talking about anyway. You know, so it's like my dad knows that he, in that situation, you can do these kind of things. You know, in his head, from his understanding of, obviously he doesn't really know about the whole thing as a whole, in terms of the whole football world and everything, how that really runs and how people look at you and all of this kind of stuff. He understands, but he's not really. There's levels to understanding. Doing something like that is people are gonna look at you funny. People are gonna get word of that you know that you
Word of mouth.
Word of mouth.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, so yeah. But I can understand why he done that. Because I know my dad. You know.
So he knew the value that you had, and I think it didn't kind of align with what they were offering.
For sure.
And so,
and also and them times I still living in the council estate. So it's like this is real life, you know. It's like, are you gonna change my current living situation or not? Basically, was the question.
So your dad was thinking like, 5 steps ahead.
Yeah.
And then as he's thinking 5 steps ahead, then that's when I guess United approached you.
Yeah.
About a scholarship, right?
No,
how did that happen?
I'm not too sure what they first approached. First it was just initial interest that they wanted me in.
Yeah.
So they had Nicky Butt, and I think Nicky Butt, and I think Ryan Giggs was watching that game. If not Ryan Giggs as well, then definitely Nicky Butt. They had people watching that game. Paul McGuinness, yeah.
Yeah, Paul.
And you know how he is. He's very particular about his details and all of these things. He watched me and said, "Yeah, look, he's a Man United player for sure." Like, you know. So then, yeah, it was kind of I'd already sold. Like, they'd already been sold. United had already been sold. So their thing was like, yeah, when you're like, if you want to come here, you will, like, you can have what you need, and you can
Wow.
play here. You know, like,
So that kind of aligned with your dad's kind of vision in a sense.
for sure.
So then now, boom, under 18s, you signed for United. What was that move from like London to Manchester? I think even just before playing for the clubs, going from an estate, what was that move like for you? Who moved with you? Did you move by yourself? Did your whole family move? What was that like moving to
Okay,
that part of your life?
so initially, so prior to the move to Manchester, I'd experienced leaving my home and staying in digs.
Okay.
So from where I was living in North London to Fulham in Southwest London, I had to stay in digs sometimes overnight.
Okay. So what is digs? What does that mean for people who may not understand what digs is?
So digs, for people who don't know, is where you stay with, seeing this at these schoolboy ages or these young ages, you stay with a host family, and yeah, they'll look after you. They'll give you food, place to sleep, and I guess kind of whatever general rules they have of their house and how to behave and how to live. That's where you go, and you commute from to training from there.
Was it good? I mean, like the family that you stayed in. Obviously, respect to them.
Yeah.
Was the food nice though, bro? Because obviously, was food important for you, bro? Because food is important for me, bro.
Bro, so much is important. So much is important. Food is definitely important, bro, for sure. And yeah, now the food was never really, it was never something to look forward to.
Aye.
It was definitely, so you never used to think, oh, I can't wait for dinner tonight. But you know, to be fair, we got fed. To me, to be honest with me, I was just excited about the stuff. Like, I used to just think to myself, what am I doing in someone else's house?
Yeah, it must have been mad.
Yeah, I was just more deep in about that. Like, but I did like the little bit of freedom it gave me, because I'm so used to being like feeling so. In a council estate so small, you know.
Yeah,
Like,
and then you was living in a house. You were living in a house, and I guess it was a different part of London. Like, what was that like for you? Like, because when you were young, I remember you were saying that you used to go central and travel with your ball. But I guess did you travel around London?
See, so that was the only time I would go to central, like out of Haringey, would be to either go to my auntie's house that's in Essex, or I'll be going to shopping in Central, wherever it is. I would go shopping or whatever. But yeah, so I don't know. It was more like I'd more been in a lot of different houses. So look, I'd probably been inside more people's houses than I had areas, you know. So it's for me, it was more of, that was the first. Honestly, that was the first white family I'd been. Obviously, of course, not obviously, but of course, that was the first white family I've ever been lived with.
Yeah.
So for me, at that age, I was okay. Things are already different, a little bit different, you know.
Okay.
Manageable, but just different. Me, you know, you have to get used to it.
Yeah.
If you've never experienced that before.
Yeah, and so like different area, you know, different upbringing, obviously a different family also as well, and so with all of this now, you know, going in digs, then moving up north.
Yeah.
Hey, what was that like for you, man?
So then that was just that was why experience in digs, and why, you know, that was like that times. Oh no, not time. Let me not say it was. It was just different, a different version of the same thing.
Okay.
So Manchester, you got Manchester culture. You got these northern tendencies and characteristics and stuff. You know, generally I feel like people up north are generally more caring anyway.
Okay.
They're more, you know. So I don't have no complaints about the digs I stayed in. You know, they were all really really nice. It was just Manchester on its own is different to London. You know? They make different jokes. They have different words for things. They have different things that they seem as cool. They have different things that they seem as tough. Different things that they seem as, like, you know, funny. And luckily for me, I got an amazing sense of humor. So I find people up north hilarious.
Okay.
So, but yeah, it's just different. You know, there is a lot of differences. Like, you know, so.
What was the one thing? What was the one difference that kind of like stands out to you, like when you think about it now?
They're pretty sensitive in terms of, like, they would probably say otherwise, but they have this thing. I remember hearing when I first went up to Manchester. I remember I used to hear players just say, like, "Oh, what are you saying that for? What are you saying that for?
What are you saying that for?"
Yeah, saying that for, like, don't, like, they'll get really angry, wound up over, like,
yeah.
you know, like, obviously I don't know, that just may be young people in general.
Yeah.
just hearing that when I used to first come, like, what are you saying that? Like, that I used to think like, why do you care what they said?
Yeah,
That much
yeah.
to be able to.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I wouldn't say that's like, maybe that just might have been my change, you know.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna just generalize the whole of Manchester about that, but
They're passionate people.
passionate people, yeah.
Yeah, passionate people.
It's different. Like like they swear a lot as well over there. Like everyone swears, little kids. Like
Yeah, it's just, I guess it's part of the affects part of the culture,
part
innit?
of the culture. Yeah, in London it's a bit, you know, like
Different in different backgrounds, different walks of life.
yeah. I guess no, the cultures would swear, for example, but like in Manchester it seems like it's just everybody's just swearing.
Every sentence.
Every sentence, but it's like you can see a kid and you just be like, oh, you know, like you just swear and that, like
Yeah,
it's not
so
that deep.
what you doing that for? with another word
Yeah.
involved in that.
Yeah.